Top of the morning, sea of red. I'm Jake. I can skate, and this is a Flames hockey game day recap. Before we get into the game, just a little quick reminder: subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I really want to get this channel up to 100 subscribers before the excitement that's gonna be the draft lottery and the draft. So take a second during this video. Hit subscribe, turn that bell button on so you know what I'm posting, and let's get into it. Good guys lose 5 to the Detroit Red Wings. And this is another one of those games, and there have been several throughout the season, where the Flames probably deserve better than they got. In the first period, they came out firing. In fact, first shift of the game, Joel Farabee strips the puck, gets a breakaway from the circles in, and gets robbed by John Gibson. That could have changed the entire complexion of this game. Instead, Gibson makes a great save. He was quite excellent in this game, and it stays 0-0 for a while. But the Flames keep pushing. And boy, there's a line I really love right now. And it's Gridin, Frost, and Coronato. They were working this whole game. And especially in the first period. Right after Farabee gets robbed, a couple minutes later, Matt Coronato gets sprung on a breakaway. Another great save by John Gibson. And then finally, after banging away at it the entire period, the Gridin, Frost, and Coronato line goes to work in the neutral zone. It's Coronato over to Gridin. Gridin comes in the zone, makes a beautiful pass to Morgan Frost. All he's got to do is touch it in the net past John Gibson, and he does. And the Flames lead 1-0. One quick note of praise before we get into the second. Midway through the first, Dominic Shine from the Red Wings goes in to finish his check on Hunter Bristevich. And it's a clear hit from behind. Bristevich's head goes into the boards, and the Flames do not follow the Toronto Maple Leafs example. Martin Pospisil, who's had concussion issues already in his career, instead of focusing on himself or focusing on the play, immediately steps up to protect his teammate, gives Shine a little bit of poke, tells him, "Do you want to go?" It looks like Lomberg would have gone too. In the end, it is Pospisil who drops the gloves and fights Shine. And this is how teams stand up for each other. So, huge claps for Martin Pospisil for standing up for his young teammate. And that's extremely important as these kids become a bigger and bigger part of this team. They have to know everybody there has their back. And the Flames have never had a problem with that this year. Unfortunately, what they have had a problem with recently is keeping pucks out of their net. And a minute into the second period, Patrick Kane gets sprung on a breakaway from the blue line in. He has time to pick his spot, and he just shelves it on Dustin Wolf. It's Patrick Kane on a breakaway. This is setting your goalie up for failure. And most of the second period, especially early, but most of it, the Flames hung Dustin Wolf out to dry. 4 minutes after the Kane breakaway, right after a Calgary Flames power play, which didn't cash, the Red Wings take that momentum from the penalty kill, come into the Flames zone. It's Lucas Raymond at the blue line. gets a pass over to Albert Johansson. Everybody is looking at Raymond and Johansson high in the zone. Nobody is marking Emmett Finney, who took the puck up the ice. And Finney sits himself at the side of the net. He gets a beautiful pass for a tap-in one-timer. And it's 2-1 Red Wings. Did I mention Dustin Wolf got hung out to dry? Because right after this, right after the Wings make it 2-1, coming out from behind his own net, makes the worst possible east-west pass into the middle of the ice at his own blue line, and it's a 2-0 for the Red Wings. And it's only by the heroics of Dustin Wolf that it's not 3-1 earlier. This is an incredible save, and it's so unfortunate that for the first half of the second period, the Flames absolutely let Dustin Wolf down. Again, the snowball continues. And it's Alex DeBrincat getting it over to Patrick Kane at the side of the net for another easy one-time goal. Our rush defense was awful. People kept getting caught puck watching. The Flames kept turning the puck over. It was all odd man rushes or breakaways that snowballed on the Flames in the second. And it's 3-1. However, because this period was wacky, a minute after that, in fact less than a minute, Matt Coronato is going to work again with Matvei Gridin. He gets a 2-on-1 with him. He tries to get it over to Gridin. Instead, it hits the defender in the skate and goes right by John Gibson, and it's 3-2. The Flames have no business being in this game with how they started the second, and yet that one line keeps them in it. But penalty trouble rears its head, and Moritz Seider goes to work on the Red Wings power play. Big shot from the blue line through a multi-layered screen. Dustin Wolf sees nothing, and it's 4-2 after 2. And with how good the first period was for the most part, and how bad the second period was, you have no idea what you're going to get in the third. You get what is arguably just as good of a period by the Flames in the third as it was in the first. The difference being they can't cash on any of their opportunities. Nothing symbolizes this more than beautiful forechecking shift where the puck goes back to Zach Whitecloud at the blue line, gets a shot on. Gibson makes a great save through a screen, but the rebound spills to the side of the net to Michael Backlund, who works hard to get body position and gets absolutely robbed, and it stays 4-2. That's how it would stay most of the period till the Flames pulled their goalie. They were pretty unimpressive with the extra attacker. And then Dominic Shine, who hit Hunter Prestevich earlier, steals the puck and gets a clear look at an empty net. He slides it in, and it's 5-2. Little note on how I name these as we get into my final thoughts here. Not only am I making notes throughout the game, which I do, but as the game's going on, I start thinking to myself what I'm gonna title these game day recaps. And at the start of the game, it was pretty clear that this recap was gonna be called Frostbite. And then I changed it briefly to snowball when everything started to snowball on the Flames in the second. And then when Patrick Kane got 2 goals, I was thinking maybe he'll get the hat trick, which he had several looks at, by the way. He could add 5 in this game, and the creative part of me was kind of hoping he would get it, because I was going to call the recap St. Patrick's Day. However, just calling it Patrick still fits March 17th with his 2 goals and clearly being the best player on the ice. Overall, the Flames were porous defensively, especially in the second. For a team that prides itself on its defensive acumen, on being in position, on always working hard to keep the game low scoring, they have been very leaky lately. And this is a team that can't afford to be leaky, because despite its young talent, and it's perfectly exemplified by that line of Frost, Gridin, and Coronato, if this team gets behind, they're not going to do well. The systems Ryan Huska put in place have fallen away. And we have to ask ourselves if that means he's lost the room and is no longer the right coach for this team. I'm not sure that's happened, or whether it's just a side effect of where the boys are in the standings, but it's a question we have to ask. With that said, let me know your thoughts on the game, on the state of our defensive play, on what you think of that Gridin, Frost, and Coronato line. Remember to do all the YouTube things, like I said earlier in the video. Subscribe. I really want to get to 100 subscribers before the draft. You can also help out by liking, commenting, and sharing the video, doing all those YouTube things. And as always, go Flames.